stay classy.
Welcome back to HIVEMIND Unlimited.
And welcome to another episode of our movie series, How Did It Age? Where we watch older movies and reevaluate them with modern context. Now, I do feel like we have to address something.
What's that?
The backlash, the feedback, the media firestorm that we found ourselves in as a result of our last episode of How Did It Age?
Yep.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a movie that is beloved by our fan base, and we absolutely trashed it.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be the bigger man here.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, it's Graydon's fault.
Yeah.
I think Graydon, he decided to absolutely sour the vibe, so any sort of mini redemption arc I was trying to kind of weave throughout that episode, I was unable to do so.
Yeah.
The vibe in here was absolutely putrid.
Yeah.
There were things that I liked about the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like I even understood the kind of anti-hero, how you're not supposed to like Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
But I felt so belittled. I felt tiny in the room next to this big man.
Yep.
And he made me feel as if I could only kind of question that. Be like, well, isn't it maybe you're supposed to not like it? And you see, I sound like a bitch.
Yep.
And we're not so different after all. Thank you so much for listening.
Yep.
We will continue with How Did It Age, and hopefully this one goes better than the last.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you for being the bigger man.
Yeah. Today's movie is Anchorman,
Woo!
a 2004 film directed by Adam McKay, starring Will Ferrell.
That's true. It's produced by Judd Apatow. It was kind of drummed up during Will Ferrell and McKay's time at SNL.
Mm-hmm.
It stars Christina Applegate, Paul Rudd, Steve Carell, David Koechner, Fred Willard, Chris Parnell, Kathryn Hahn, Fred Armisen, Vince Vaughn, and oh, so many more. It made $90.6 million against a $26 million budget, a smashing success.
Absolutely.
66% on Rotten Tea, 7.1 on IMDb, 3.5 out of 5 on letterboxd, and Roger Ebert loved this effort. He gave it 3 out of 4 and said Anchorman delivers comedic goods. Pretty good for Raj. Some of the early versions of the script I found really funny. They originally planned it as an Alone parody where the whole news crew gets like lost in the woods and Ron has to like lead them back to civilization. And they're like about to cannibalize each other, which you shouldn't do.
Yeah, feel like that's going to come out later.
Yeah, but you should still say it.
Right, I'm not a cannibal. I don't plan on eating people.
Thank you. Another one of the B plots that I think you just mentioned they released as like a DVD extra is like replace the panda, which is the center news story of this movie, with like this bank robber crew, and it's kind of like more of this crime 70s detective newsman thing. That didn't happen either. This is the one they ended on. Great choice. Apparently in those early scripts, Paul Thomas Anderson was really involved and was like attached to some of them. And he was like shepherding McKay and Judd Apatow through. And then he dropped out and later said it was one of his biggest regrets in his career, which is pretty awesome.
The plot they did land on for this movie goes a little something like this. In the male-dominated world of 1970s TV news, Ron Burgundy is San Diego's most famous anchorman. While he technically has rivals in the local news space, Burgundy's Channel 4 News team comfortably holds the #1 spot in the ratings. However, when upstart reporter Veronica Corningstone arrives at the station, Ron has real competition. His initial infatuation and romance with Miss Corningstone turns bitter when she challenges his standing as lead anchor. Amidst their feud, Veronica tricks Mr. Burgundy into reading an expletive on air, thus terminating his career and leaving his seat vulnerable to her dainty female grasp. But when a huge story develops at the San Diego Zoo and Veronica Corningstone is pushed into the Kodiak Bear enclosure, only one man can save the day. And his name is Ron Burgundy.
And Baxter.
Well, of course, Baxter, the talking dog. Weird how that dog barks. Sounds like human speaking. It really is. It's like rar, rar. It's sounds like a human doing a dog impression.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. That'd be weird to dub a dog with a human bark, but I like the idea of it.
I dub a dog, dare him to do it in the next one.
Double dog, double dare you to that.
I double dog dare you to dub a dog in the next one. Had you seen this movie before?
Dillion fucking times.
I had seen it twice.
Really?
Honestly, I'm a little worried about this being the redemption arc episode. I never liked this movie. And,
sure.
Upon returning to it, still kind of felt somewhat the same way.
Yeah, you never found things like misogyny or like alcoholism or like crude sex stuff funny, which...
That's not true. I find stuff like that funny often.
Yeah.
And there are some things that I do really like about this movie.
Sure.
I think it's more so, honestly, the comedic timing.
Oh, see, to me, it works.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
I know you loved the opening credits scene as much as I did.
Of course. I love when he's just like, because I always do that thing. I'm sure it's made a cut of a few videos, but I was in theater growing up, and you'd say, like, unique New York.
Sure.
She sat upon the slitted sheets, and upon the slitted sheet she sat.
Yeah.
Like, these are just vocal warm-ups that people do to try to get their enunciation right.
Yeah.
And he starts off with some of those. He even does a unique New York.
Yep.
But then he gets into more and more absurd ones, which I absolutely love. He's like, the arsonist has oddly shaped feet. The human torch was denied a bank loan. Those are great.
I love when he's yelling at the woman, like, offset, like 5 seconds before he starts. He's like, and they're like, and he's like, kills the scotch. The scotch's part is really good too. I remember that was like an early influence on me wanting to drink scotch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember seeing this movie and being like, well, when I'm older, I'm going to have to like scotch because that's funny.
Yeah, this movie ruined your brain then.
Yeah,
huh?
a little bit. Just slowed it down. It was working too fast.
Yeah, he's like, scotch in my belly.
It's so good. When the narrator in the beginning says he had a voice that could make a Wolverine purr and suits that made Sinatra look like a hobo. I love that.
Here's the thing about this movie. I feel like some of the timing is supposed to be awkward and dry. And sometimes that works in its favor. Sometimes I feel like it works against the movie.
Sure.
One time that I absolutely love it is where they kind of have the meeting where they're bringing in Veronica Corningstone and they're explaining what diversity is, which they don't even know what it is. They think it's like, they're like, oh, it's a boat from the Civil War, whatever. The main guy goes, are you listening, Ron? He goes, no. And he's like, well, this concerns all of us. He goes, okay. Like, it's so awkward, but it works so well.
Yeah. They're just like big children. I believe it's an old wooden ship.
Yeah.
He does that same kind of just like false intellectual side of Ron Burgundy when they're out on the date too. And he's like,
San Diego. Yeah. He's like,
it means whale's vagina.
She's like, no. And then I love that he ignores that he ever said what he thought it meant.
Yeah.
And says, scholars maintain that the translation was lost hundreds of years ago. He's just like faking knowing things. And she's like, I think it means Saint Diego.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it doesn't mean that.
They get the ratings and they go to the party. We'll talk more about that scene later, but I love Brick's introduction. Like, everybody does theirs and it's like who they are, their role at the news station, and like a little bit about their character. Brick does his as he's like putting cream cheese or mayonnaise in the toaster. And then he gives a little introduction. He's like, I do weather. And then he says, years later, a doctor will tell me I have an IQ of 48. No one else goes into the future. Like, it's weird that we get a little glimpse into Brick's future. And the way that, just the way that joke is delivered, it's really funny to me.
The introduction scene, though, I feel like it feels so Adam McKay. Like,
oh, yeah.
But I don't think it goes over very well. I think that the delivery of jokes in this movie is legitimately fumbled so many times. Where, like, I love the character of Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
I love the setting and the vibe of the 1970s male-dominated TV news thing, these anchors, and they're supposed to be idiots. They're very misogynistic, and they play it up. I just truthfully don't think that Paul Rudd or Steve Carell are very good in this movie. And Vince Vaughn is like, that's like one of his worst performances.
Oh, we're completely on different pages.
I don't, here's the other thing, and I'll spoil it now, I guess. I watched Anchorman 2.
Yeah.
And I think it's better.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it definitely just opens up the door. Everything's thrown at the canvas. I feel like in Anchorman 2.
Anchorman 2, the joke writing is just so much better.
That's fair.
Really do think that. It loses steam in the second half. It definitely, like, they do the dumb cameo thing when they reprise the fight scene, and it's like Will Smith and Kanye and, whatever. Leading up to that, the joke writing had me laughing out loud in Anchorman 2, and I didn't really laugh out loud that many times during Anchorman 1.
I cried.
What part did you cry at?
Baxter. I thought he was dead this time.
Jack Black punts him off a bridge. Like, it's so obviously a stuffed animal. Yeah, it's something.
After the big ratings party and they're all hungover in the meeting room, I believe it's Champ that says, I woke up this morning in some Japanese family's rec room and they would not stop screaming.
Yeah.
And then Brick goes, I ate a big red candle. Which is
Yeah.
some of the writing for Steve Carell's is funny because it's obviously just like so stupid and random, but like there's just like some added adjectives that really hit. Like the candle being red there, and that joke is funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It almost is like that the red was more appetizing for him. You know,
Right.
I ate a big red candle.
Yeah, I do like how stupid he is.
Yeah.
But I just think some of the like timing of some of that stuff comes off weird. And he gets annoying because
Yeah.
he ends up being like obsessed with yelling and like
Yeah.
doing high-pitched yells. And I don't really like when he does that. I'd rather he just be stupid.
Yeah. And
Instead
a lot
of obnoxious.
he also just like mocks or repeats a lot of what everyone says like in
Yeah.
the second half of the movie, which is like, yeah.
I do love when they're going around and like they first announce that Veronica's going to be there, and Paul Rudd is like, "Listen, you know I love ladies. They rev my engine." he's like, "But the newsroom is no place for a woman." And then Champ comes up and he's like, "It's Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady."
Yeah.
And then Steve Carell just goes, "Why are we yelling?" He's like, "I don't know why we're yelling." He goes, "Loud noises." Like I do like that
Yeah.
he just kind of like joins in on the thing.
One of them says, I read somewhere that their periods attract bears. And they're like, see, is that what you want? Bears? You're endangering everyone.
I do love the scene also with all the cologne that
Yes.
Paul Rudd opens that little thing. They reprise it in 2
Yeah.
with condoms, but
Yeah.
he opens it up and he's like, "What are you gonna go for? London fog or something, whatever?" And then he's like, "I know just the thing," and presses like a compartment, and this sex panther comes up. And I do love that for some reason it's very funny to me that it becomes this putrid smell that nobody can handle, and they're all saying all these ridiculous things. Like Christina Applegate is like, "Smells like a diaper filled with Indian food." And then, but when Will Ferrell smells it, he's just like, "It stings the nostrils in a good way." Like it doesn't affect him in
No.
the same way. He's just like, "Oh, it's musky."
And then at the end, isn't there like a woman who likes it in the crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. Also, smells like Bigfoot's dick is the big one that comes out of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when they're spraying them down, they say this is worse than when a raccoon got into the copier, which is like a funny.
Yeah. But that's another one that I'm like, it's just such a flubbed line. Like there's so much Adam McKay directing
That's true.
that I feel like leads to kind of just laying bare some of the bad comedic timing in the movie.
Yeah. In the first interaction with Vince Vaughn and the other channel news team, Vince Vaughn's mom is just Dorothy Mantooth. I love that he's Mantooth.
It's Wes Mantooth.
Wes Mantooth. And then when they poke at the mom, it's Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. And they're like, leave the mothers out of this.
Yeah.
That's a good line. Like, I'll take her out to a nice seafood dinner and never call her again. That being the ultimate insult there is good. Toilet store line. It's ran dry over time.
Some of the most iconic lines in this movie, when you return to them, I see why they are, because they are some of the funniest lines. That one specifically, I'm like, the timing of that whole scene is so awkward, you know?
Some of my favorite lines come from Mr. Larkin, who's the head of the news channel. And he's often like on the phone discussing like problems of his kids at school. And the first one's like, I have no idea where he would have gotten a hold of German pornography. And he's like, well, we've all seen our fair share of lewd material. And he's like, oh, you haven't seen any? And he apologizes. And he's like, oh, sorry, Sister Margaret. He's literally talking to a nun.
Yeah, he's like, me either. I was just speaking in generalities.
Yeah.
I do love that line. That's very funny. I will say, I absolutely love when he finally convinces Veronica to go on like what is essentially a date.
Yeah.
And she's like, but it's not a date. He's like, strictly professional. And then she realizes that he has an erection. And I just love when he's like, well, I'll pick you up at 8. And then she's like, and he goes, oh, 9. And then he goes, downstairs. The way that he does that is like classic Will Ferrell. It's so funny.
I love when he rolls up to that and the line where he goes, there she is, Veronica, my little China doll. Like he hits those, and you know that's like, that was not written. Like,
No.
That's just Will Ferrell.
I don't think much of this movie was. I think it's a lot of improv, and I just think it's what they selected.
Yeah.
Like, especially when he speaks to Baxter the first time, you can tell he's like coming up with it as he goes. He's like, you took a poop in the refrigerator, and you ate a whole wheel of cheese. He's like, I'm not even mad. That's amazing. Like, that line is great, but you can tell he's doing it off the cuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's deciding what Baxter is speaking to him.
When they're all taking their shots at Veronica, they each take turns trying to pick her up in the beginning. Brick's pickup line is like, have you heard about the party? Pants party? Party my pants? And it's like so fumbled, but then Veronica's like, Brick, are you inviting me to a party in your pants? And he's like,
He goes, exactly.
Exactly. And they're like,
Yeah.
did Brian put you up to this? He's like, yep. And she's like, no, Brick, I will not go to a party in your pants. And he just turns to like the next, the camera guy and is like, do you want to come to a party in my pants? And he's like, no. And then he's like, okay. And he
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. And he runs away.
I love the delivery when she says, did Brian put you up to this? He goes, nah, yes.
Yes.
Like right away, he's like, decides that yes.
Another sneaky Will Ferrell line when they sit down at the jazz club, she orders like something stiff, like a risky neat or something.
Yeah, but that is like, and kick it in the side with steel-toed boots. That's what she says.
But Ron Burgundy's order is 3 fingers of Glenlivet with a little bit of pepper and some cheese. 3 fingers here. That's a triple shot of scotch with pepper and cheese.
Yeah.
And then when it's Tino.
Yeah, Fred Armisen.
Yeah, Fred Armisen comes over and says the coyote of the desert eats the heart of the young and the blood drips down to the young and only the ribs will be broken. And then Ron just cuts him off and is like, Tino, stop. And he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Then he asks him if he'll play jazz flute.
Yeah, he just starts
Jazz flute.
He just starts it on this monologue that is so graphic and like, it's insane.
He's like, you know what they say in Venezuela. It's so good.
Oh, that kills me.
Also big for our fans. I love after they Veronica and Ron Burgundy first have sex. He says, "A tip of the cap to you too, Miss Corningstone."
It's the most magnificent rainbow I've ever seen. Do me on it. That's kind of a classic exchange there.
Yeah.
I love they get back at the news studio. The arc of Champ being like in love with Ron is really funny to me.
Especially in 2.
Oh, it gets, yeah.
Oh,
they step
have you
it up.
not seen 2?
I saw it in theaters like when it came out.
He keeps trying to hug Ron.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
And they just like, he just won't stop. Like he'll stop him and like get back into conversation and he'll just be reaching over trying to hug him.
They're like sitting in front of the desk and they're talking about going to the pancake breakfast, which Ron never misses. And he's trying yogging.
Yeah. He's like, we're trying this new fad called jogging or yogging. It might be a soft J. But apparently you just go outside and run around.
Yeah. Champ's like, I miss being with you. I miss being around you. I missed your laugh. I missed your scent. I miss your musk. When this all gets sorted out, I think we should get an apartment together.
Yeah, that's good.
And then Brian's like, Champ's a mess. Brick is confused. He's like, look what you've done, man.
For lines that maybe didn't age that well, but are still very funny to me, I love when Paul Rudd is just like trying to explain that he might have been in love before.
Yeah.
And he's like, she was Brazilian or Chinese or something weird. I do
and they
love
just
the way
made out for 30 minutes or
yeah,
something.
they made out and then he never saw her again.
I don't think that's quite love. It's like, dang it. I like when Ron Burgundy names his fists Jack Johnson and Tim O'Leary.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty good. When he's stuck in the phone booth, I'm stuck in a glass case of emotion.
That is so funny. That whole scene is unbelievable vintage Will Ferrell. The way he's able to just wail and yell and then just, I'm in a glass case of emotion.
And he keeps setting it up with like, ah! Like he can't like really explain what's going on. It's really good.
Yeah, and he's like, listen to me. And then he says nothing. He just wails.
When Veronica's like killing it on the news, she has a line where she says, and I used to date a guy named Hoppy down in Alabama. He was quite a hopper too. That line, and then it like cuts to women at home being like,
yeah, they love it.
She's one of us.
Yeah. My favorite lines in this entire movie are all Ron Burgundy's exclamations.
Yeah.
I love, he goes, by the ear of Zeus.
Yes.
My favorite one in the entire movie for some reason. It goes, Knights of Columbus.
That's good. I love Great Odin's Raven. That one is so good.
Yeah. The credit scene, they show a bunch of him just doing a bunch of those and just like, you know, a bunch of ones that got cut out and they're so funny.
After the news fight, Ron addresses Brick. He goes, Brick killed the guy. Seriously, Brick, lay low for a while. You're probably wanted for murder. Yes. And Brick's like fiddling with something. He's like, yeah. Do you have somewhere you can stay?
I also love when Veronica says she always dreamed of being an anchor, like later.
Yeah.
And he goes, I thought it was a joke. She's like, I told you I dreamed of being an anchor. He's like, I thought you were kidding.
When they have their fight and they're falling out, first she says jazz flute is for little fairy boys, and that tips him over. Yeah. And then the narrator comes in with Bob Dylan once wrote a song, Times They Are A-Changing. Ron Burgundy had never heard that song, so that's why he fell so hard. And then Veronica's like calling him and not saying anything. And he's like, who is this? Baxter? Blink twice if you're in Milwaukee. And then And then he goes, "Is this Wilt Chamberlain?"
It's bark twice.
Oh, yeah,
not
sorry.
blink twice.
I just read
no,
that.
no, we'll keep it. That's funny. It's a bark
Yeah,
twice.
it's bark twice. I just can't read my own notes. And then just to make the assumption, is this Wilt Chamberlain? It's so funny.
I'll get into my favorite scene when we get there, but I do have to like preface this line by talking about that scene. I love that they sing this entire song, and then right after it, they talk about him being in love. And he's like, Paul Rudd just goes, "Sounds like you have mental problems, man."
You have a lot to work through.
And then Brick's like, "Yeah, it sounds like you have mental problems, man." He just like echoes what he said.
It's so funny. I do love later when they're talking about Ron crashing out that Catherine Hahn doesn't have a ton of lines in this, but she just like is like comforting Veronica and is just like, "The way he treated you was so bad." She's like, "So awful." Like her delivery is so good.
Yeah. My favorite scene, like I just talked about, is when they sing Afternoon Delight. It is the fact that they go high is my favorite part.
I love Ron's like look of approval when they go high. He like looks at Champ and is like,
yeah. And they just sing for so long. That's one of my favorite comedy things is when somebody sings, they start singing and you think, oh, okay, they'll do a second of it, and they just keep going, and they're harmonizing like it's so prepared.
And it's like conversational.
Yeah.
They'll like stop, say something, and then wicked in the morning in the afternoon. It's so good.
Afternoon Delight.
Pew!
Yeah.
Champs is so good.
Oh, it's so great.
That was like, we would do that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
we would just sing that and someone would go, woo! I do love that first ratings party. It sets the stage for them as like rock stars in the city.
Right.
When he asked for like a second go after fumbling his first approach to Veronica. Like, all right, sorry, I'm Ron. I want to be on you. And then she just walks away. I love that. And he doesn't know that she's going to be an anchor at that time. Good.
Yeah, that whole party scene I don't love, especially just like the introduction where like Paul Rudd, I understand it's like very much going for an iconic line where he's like, "Yes, I know what you're thinking. I have a name for my penis and I named my testicles too." Like, and then like says what they are, and like it's just a little like too obvious trying to be something, and then like Champ doing the whammy thing. I understand why it's important and it's like visually pleasing, but it's not very funny to me. And even the way that he talks to Veronica at first feels a little bit forced in my mind. Like Ron Burgundy is such a good character, and I feel like it builds to a really good place comedically about halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
But at that beginning part, I'm kind of like, it's a little over the top for just starting out talking to her.
When she gets introduced into the news place, they protest it, as we talked about. But then they're all in Mr. Larkin's office, just like being like nasty. They're all like explaining the hot parts about Veronica. And then Champ's like, "I'd like to put barbecue sauce on that." And Mr. Larkin's even laughing.
Yeah, he like, can't stop laughing.
She's like right outside the door hearing all of it. And he's like, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." I love that scene.
I think like it plays into the misogyny and stuff. And I'm not like being virtuous about it and being like, whatever. They're obviously doing a 1970s male dominated newsroom thing where they're like, "Oh, the women, whatever." I get that. I just think some of it could be a little funnier. In like the way that they do it.
That's fair.
But my worst scene is the animated scene. I don't understand why they have to do it's so stupid.
I do love the Tom Jones song in it though.
Well, we'll get to soundtrack.
Yeah.
The soundtrack in this thing is incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, it
drop.
like it really holds the thing together in a lot of ways. Like the vibe is very clear. You get the Isley brothers and stuff, but we'll talk about that later. It does an animated scene for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come across as like important that it happens.
No, it's like strange early 2000s theme, I feel like, was to like just burst into some strange world.
Yeah, comedies just did that. These types of comedies would do that sometimes, and they'd probably thought like in the moment, "Oh, this will be so funny because it's, whatever. It's zany and like colorful," and it just didn't need to be there in my opinion. But
best scene for me that I was surprised at like how it aged so funny to me is the jazz flute scene.
Oh, it's so good.
Because it just gets so out of hand. First, it starts where he walks up and he's like, "Let's take him down an easy ride in E flat." And he's like, "And the bass, let's take it for a walk."
Yeah.
And he's like explaining everything. And then he goes to blow into it and it's like he sucks.
It's bad, yeah.
He's like, "Oh, sorry." He like does a run up.
It really pump fakes you. Like you do think he's about to be really bad at it, and he's just like doing it in front of Veronica, and he's gonna fumble, and then he's so good.
He slides under the stall while someone's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part is when he's on stage and he leans over and drinks a martini through the flute.
Yeah. And then lights it on fire and blows out. And he also is just like fully stepping on glasses and breaking them. And I love that Tino loves it the whole time.
Yeah.
He's like the owner of the place, and Ron Burgundy's just destroying the place, and he's just loving it.
He goes into like a moment of Aqualung too, a little Jethro Tull.
He says Aqualung.
Yeah,
he goes Aqualung.
Little scene shout out. Veronica's first news story is the cat show and Seth Rogen working the camera.
Yeah.
I love that. He's like, I'm getting some really good stuff. And she's like, let's get out of here. The cats are like prancing around.
Yeah. I feel like we have to talk about the fight scene.
Yeah, of course.
The fight scene is iconic, and I understand why it is. I think it's actually funnier than I remembered it. There's something really charming about the fact that they do like battlefield lines where you're like everything's happening like closer to the camera, and there's so much weaponry. It's like very ridiculous. Like, you know, Brick having the grenade, like all of these things are very funny. And I was surprised. I thought I was going to be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
When Ben Stiller's team rolls up, and then I think it's Vince Vaughn's character goes, looks like we got ourselves a bilingual blood fest.
Yeah.
That's such a good line.
Also, Ben Stiller being the guy from the Spanish-speaking news team is so funny.
And halfway through the battle, a guy is just on fire, like walking through. It's almost like, I wonder when Gangs of New York came out, because it reminded me of like a parody of that.
Right.
Like Daniel Day-Lewis on the streets fighting. Luke Wilson's arm falling off and then his arm falling off again later is pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that scene's really... I love early on that scene where Brick is just on the wrong side. He's just laughing with the other news team. They're like, Brick, get back over here. And he's like, oh.
Yeah. I also do like Ron Burgundy's fall from grace. The line I was referring to earlier, what the milk was a bad choice, where everybody just says that, is legitimately a laugh out loud line when you're watching it. Like he just talks about how hot it is outside. He's like in the beard, and he's like, milk was a bad choice. And he, you know, he's drinking in the dive bar, and then he like uses the conch shell to like call for his news team, and they've just been there the whole time.
Like, hey, Ron. We've been here the whole time. But then they're still like hesitant. They're like, I need you back. They're like, I don't know. We've all changed so much. It's been like a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's good.
I do also love that he calls Danny Trejo's bar. And it's just like, he like just kind of knows Ron's going to be there. He's like, is there anyone there who can read the news? And Ron like grabs the phone and goes into the bathroom, comes right out. And Danny Trejo's like, he cleans up good.
Yeah. And then I also love that the conch shell doesn't work for the news team because they're right next to him, but it does get Baxter back.
Yeah, he
like
hears
Baxter hears it, and he like comes out of the water and just shows back up. And then he can talk to the bears. I guess that's kind of funny. Like,
along my travels, I met one of your kind. His name was Quito Toe or whatever. And the bear's like, he's my cousin. Be good, Baxter. I do love the newsroom brawl between Veronica and Ron when they first go at it. And it's just like a full-on man versus woman fight. And everyone in the newsroom's like, let him go at it. Let him handle this. She throws like a whole typewriter, and instead of dodging it, he kind of like just lets it hit him in his face. All the physical comedy in that scene is really funny. The brawl starts after Veronica is informed that Ron will read anything off the teleprompter and puts "Go fuck yourself, San Diego," and he doesn't even realize he reads it.
I love, that's one thing that is very funny is like earlier in the movie, he like is too excited about being with Veronica, so he says like, and I would also like to inform you that we are dating. And she's a handful in the bedroom or whatever. And then right as he's ending, he goes like we go off the air and he goes, uh-oh. he knows that he messed up. But in this scenario, he ends and he's like, great show, everyone. Everyone on the floor too. Everybody did great. Like he doesn't realize he said go fuck yourself. For some reason, that's very funny to me.
He walks up and goes, you're fired. And he goes, you're fired. And then they go into the meeting room and Garth comes in with a great line. He's so sad. He's like, there's hundreds of San Diegeites outside that are angry. They want your head on a stake, Ron. He's all upset. And he goes, why'd you have to say that, Ron? You poop came out of your mouth. Poop mouth.
It stinks.
Yeah. He's like
It's
crying.
Chris Parnell is so,
Oh.
that's like one of my favorite performances in the movie is that delivery is so good.
It's hilarious. It's like for some reason, Ron Burgundy has this power that like the people orbiting him are like little kids.
Yeah.
Or they're like in love with him. Like Champ does it. Garth breaks down into a child. Like even Veronica, when she's with him, is just like swept up in this spell. It's funny, like the power he has over the other characters.
Yeah, it reminds me just what we were talking about where he's like finishing up his broadcast. I do love at the beginning of the movie when they do that and they tell him that they're number one or whatever. And then he's like, that's good news. Like, I love that it's like a double entendre that doesn't need to be, like, you get the idea that Ron probably doesn't even know that he's doing that. He's like, that's good news.
So good.
Yeah.
A classic happy ending movie. Ron is forgiven for whatever reason, and everybody goes on happily ever after.
Until the second movie.
Well, and they go on to do the world news, which is funny.
Global News Network, GNN, which they do like flub that. It shows them working at a different news station first, and then she gets promoted to lead anchor, Veronica Corningstone does, and he gets fired. And then he goes to work for GNN, which is the first ever 24-hour news network. And it's also like, they kind of are parodying Fox News in that movie, and it is very funny. The angle is really good where they just realize they're like, what if we stop telling people what they need to hear and start telling them what they want to hear? And then he just says like, I'm an American. Like, and people love it. And then they just start saying whatever they want, and they cover the first ever high-speed chase, and it's like from Milwaukee. And like they're just he's like, load that up, put the live stream of that car chase on. And it's like the first time that anybody had that idea. So it is an interesting angle in the second movie, but yeah. I wanted to say like, well, they did that, but that was 2013. That was, 12 years ago. I think there's a lot more to parody, and it's obviously they started. I was surprised that they were so on it in 2013 because this is like 3 years before Trump gets elected. You're really starting to see what Fox News is then, but they really parody it well, and it doesn't come off heavy-handed. I feel like that would be tough to do now. There probably would be too many people that you'd see and be like, well, that's their Tucker, that's their Alex Jones, that's their Anderson Cooper, that's their Trump. Like, it's tough to do a thing like this now. So I almost feel like they'd have to bring it back to local.
Or just like keep it back in the day kind of deal. I have that it would have a ton more cameos. It would be on Netflix and there'd be no sexism.
Yeah, there probably still would be sexism. Like into the owner of the news of GNN News Network is a black woman. And her name's Linda Jackson. And right when he meets her, he just goes, black. And then she's like, what? And he goes, black. And it's all he can say. And she's like literally telling him to stop. And he's like, black. He like can't say another word. And then she ends up, as he becomes the star anchor of that news thing, she gets obsessed with him and wants to hook up with him. And then he hooks up with her. And there's a scene in that movie. I can't believe I'm like bringing this up on here because like we almost could do a whole episode about that. But like he goes to dinner with her family where she introduces him as her like new boyfriend to her entire black family. And he's just doing like awful black slang to them.
Oh no.
And they are like, I think you've noticed that we don't talk like that here. And he just keeps being like, right on, brother, give me a little skin. Like he just keeps doing it like that. And it's really awkward. And he, after that, is like, I think that went well. I think that was whatever. I had a great time. And then she's like, you can't see that that was really bad. And he's like, well, I'm sorry. I thought that I was, bonding with them. And then she's like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. Like she apologizes to him.
He's irresistible.
It's really crazy, that movie. But the kid is so good. His kid is hilarious. I really did like 2 more. I feel like if you rewatch them right back to back, the jokes in 2 will make you laugh harder. Fred Armisen, to me. I know it's small. It's a small role, but he is so good.
So good.
I was laughing the entire time he was on screen. It is undeniably hilarious.
It's awesome. I have Christina Applegate down. She's just like, she gets across like that she's really trying to do the news in this setting where it's just so goofy. And like even the guys who are the #1 ratings and like apparently good at their jobs, you don't really get the impression that Ron's like good at the news. He's just like hot and handsome and charismatic for some reason.
Yeah, and he's not even hot. It's Will Ferrell. Like
right.
it's really funny to me that like Paul Rudd's clearly the most attractive of their group, at least conventionally. But Will Ferrell is like the tall guy with the mustache, and he has like clearly has hair plugs. And is just like my perfect hair and my voice, and it just works. And that's kind of the commentary I think that's what they're saying. Is like the guys don't have to be good at their jobs; they're just guys. And that works. And she has to work like triple as hard, and clearly actually cares about delivering the news. And just then can she even like eke open the door of being a possible anchor on the news.
And she's good at that, and then also really good at like convincing you that she's like hopelessly in love with Ron Burgundy. Like when she falls for him, like after what if tonight I'll be a man, you be a woman, and
then we're just co-people instead of co-workers.
When she's smoking the cigarette in bed, she like feels bad for even upsetting him, and like his fall off later. She's great in it.
Yeah, she's really good at, because it's hard to convince anybody that you would be into Ron Burgundy. And like, I think it's funny that like his way of trying to pick her up is honestly just as crude and ridiculous and manipulative as the other three guys. But for some reason, him being the leading man, she gives him a little chance, and then it works, and then she's hopelessly in love with him. And it just is so hard to believe, but she's such a great actress that it works.
It is good.
Recast, I have Chet Collins as Ron Burgundy. Chet Collins from Almost Friday. I think he is like honestly perfect for that role. He does the whole, I'm sure you guys have seen, he does kind of like the manosphere financial kind of inspirational speaker character. And it's kind of similar where he has this like faux confidence as a guy, is very masculine. I have Tim Robinson as Champ Kind.
I do as well.
He reminds me of Tim Robinson in moments, and I know it's 2004, so it predates a lot of Tim Robinson stuff, but like there's so much Tim Robinson in that character. Zach Fox as Brian Fantana.
Nice.
I kind of stumbled into that one, but I was like, he really could be this kind of like suave, charming idiot sort of thing. And then I have Beck Bennett as Brick Tamlin.
Nice. Mine is kind of all over the place. Imagine them all in their primes. I have Conan O'Brien as Ron Burgundy.
Right.
Marcello as Fantana.
Yeah, I thought about him for that exact role.
Zach Galifianakis as Brick.
Yeah, that's obvious,
Tim Robinson as Champ, and then Aubrey Plaza as Veronica Corningstone.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
I could see her as like the focused career woman, but then I could see her as like this comedic romance character as well. Yeah,
I kind of thought of like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler as possibilities for that. And like, I also thought, in his prime, Will Arnett would be such an obvious Anchorman, like Ron Burgundy type character.
Yeah.
I just kind of went with a modern one.
Totally. Pretty amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's done by Alex Werman, who did March of the Penguins, mind you.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's just needle drop after needle drop. Like, each scene is so well-timed with a fitting song. You get Bill Withers, you get Curtis Mayfield, you get Afternoon Delight Moment, and then you get the Sunshine Go Away Today. I love that one during the crash out. Sunshine go away today.
I think the best needle drop still is Who's That Lady? It's just so like, because also it's funny now, I haven't seen this movie in a while, but in my mind I was like, oh, Kendrick. Because it's like, it's I love myself.
Yeah.
You're looking at me. Tell me, what do you see?
I did not think that.
Who's that lady? That's really great. But yeah, it's just a lot of 70s soul stuff. It's great.
It's an A+ soundtrack. It really works. Adds to the movie a lot.
Yeah. I would recommend it in a marathon. I would say watch it and then watch 2.
Sure.
Because like I said, the character of Ron Burgundy is so great, and this world is such a fun playground for this type of comedy. I just think like execution-wise on the first go, there are some things that it left me wanting a little bit more, like snappy, some jokes to leave with. And I feel like 2 really surprised me that way. And while you may like scoff at some of the modern things and the cameos in 2 and those things, like if you just think about it joke for joke, I do think when you watch 1 and then 2, it's a very fun night of like watching. Like, I think you'll get the classic stuff out of 1 and get the great jokes out of 2. That's a great night of watching 2 movies. So I would recommend it in that context.
End it with Talladega Nights.
No, I think 2 movies is good, and then we'll wait for 3 to come out.
2 doesn't really feel like a marathon. That feels like a double feature.
Oh, okay.
You said marathon, right?
I guess I would finish it out with Wanted.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, with Angelina Jolie, Morgan Freeman. I watched that last night after I watched Anchorman 2.
Nice.
After I found out that you had misled me by saying there was an Anchorman 3.
Yes.
That does not exist.
Wanted's where she can curve the bullet, correct?
Yes.
Wow, is that a cool, shitty movie?
Oh, God, it's bad. You can tell how bad they wanted to make either The Matrix or Fight Club.
Sure.
And it turns out that they just made a bullshit movie.
Yeah, but you see Angelina Jolie's back, and she's got those cool tattoos.
Yeah, she does. And she
Wow.
was also branded by her father's killer.
Yeah. Wow. Shit. She's hot.
Yep. And Chris Pratt's in that movie.
Oh, he
Seems
is.
early for Chris Pratt to
It
be in a
is.
movie.
Way too early.
He's the shitty best friend who's fucking his girlfriend.
Yep.
And it's so obvious what they're trying to do. They're trying to make him like literally the guy from The Matrix. Just being like, my job sucks and someone's fucking my girlfriend and I feed Red Bull to my cat. And it's a really bad movie, but it was fun to watch.
I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I said I should have been a local news anchorman. I feel like I'd be better at that job than I am at this one.
Was that the whole?
No, I didn't. The second part was just kind of fell out.
Okay, because I just don't know if DK wants to type all of that or
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Type whatever you want.
Oh, he gets to type whatever he
Stay
wants.
classy, Detroit. You know, the Mort Krim, who was a Detroit news anchor, apparently said that Will Ferrell reached out, and it was loosely based off of him.
Yeah, they use that name, I think, in the second one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I believe so, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of cool. I gave it 2.5 stars, and I'll just do a pun, I guess. It's a fun movie. Weather, spelled Weather.
He knows how to spell it.
The jokes land or not.
Lander's not.
No.
Oh. That's not the pun?
No,
Lander's not?
the pun is weather.
Oh, nice.
Because weather's on the
part
news.
of the news.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah. So when you were saying he knows how to spell it, there are 2 ways to spell weather.
Lander's not.
That's not the joke. Again.
Oh.
And weather, it's
Be a good sport, whether the jokes land or not, up at 9. Lander's not.
What?
That's a pun.
I don't know if it is.
Thanks again for watching movies with us.
If you want to know what movie we're watching next for the series, please join our Patreon, only $5 a month, or become a member on the main channel HIVEMIND by clicking the join button. We post about a week ahead of time what movie we're going to be covering for the series so that you can rewatch it, and then you watch these and you have a kind of a fresh picture in your mind of what we're talking about. Other than that, suggest some movies downstairs for us to cover. Sorry again about the Scott Pilgrim thing. It was Graydon's fault. It was completely Graydon's fault.
It was.
And I just want to be the bigger man and take responsibility on behalf of the show and Graydon specifically for ruining that episode.
You got it.
Other than that, thanks so much. Like the video, all that stuff. We appreciate you for watching. We've been HIVEMIND Unlimited. Stay classy, Detroit. Say thanks for stopping by. I think that'd be good.
Thanks for stopping by, Detroit, or whatever.
You could not have been a local news anchor if you're going to talk
I'm
like
good
this.
at it.
Okay, then say it. Do it, Ron Burgundy.
Thanks for stopping by, Ron Burgundy.
Thanks for stopping by. Stay classy. Anchorman 3.
Return of Burgundy. Bergen 3.
Ron
Ron
Burgundy
Burgundy
3.
3.
Yeah, that's easy. And then if they make a 4th one, Ank 4 Man, that's easy.
Come on, that's too easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
This is too easy for a guy.
It's too easy to come up with shit like this. This is what
5.
That's what I get paid for. Anchorman 5.
Brian 5 Tano. Easy.
Yeah, probably. And then 6, we'll do 6 Tamlin.
Yep.
That's easy. The
Come
story,
on.
The
Too
legend
easy.
of 6 Tamlin.
Yeah.
7.
R.I.P. Ron Burgundy. Rest in 7.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
too easy.
Yeah, he
That's
died,
just so
and then
simple.
His kid from 2, they'll make it about him. His name's Walter.
Yeah, duh.
So, what's eating Walter 8?
I mean,
Or
that's
whatever.
too
It's-
easy.
It's really simple.
It's so simple stuff.
They probably won't do 9.
No, it's too. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
make
but it would
sense.
be called Champ 9.
Sure.
The story, the legend of Champ Kind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that's fine.
That's simple.
Yeah.